Today, we're going to peel back the layers on something a lot of us use every single day: makeup. But trust me, this story isn't just about lipstick and eyeshadow. It's this incredible history of magic, medicine, and even rebellion that goes back thousands of years. So let's start with a question. What could an ancient Egyptian from 4,000 years ago and a top beauty influencer today possibly have in common? I mean, they're worlds apart, right? But they share this one really fundamental connection. And it's this: it's a belief in the transformative power of makeup. It's such a human thing. From the kohl lined eyes on the Nile to the perfectly blended look you see in a ring light, we have always believed that what we put on our faces can change everything, not just how people see us, but how we see ourselves. It's this amazing thread that's woven all the way through our history. And what we're about to find out is that this has never, ever been just about looking good. We're going to see how makeup has been this incredibly powerful tool for, well, everything, from religious rituals and social status to groundbreaking science and even cultural rebellion. So, let's dive in. We're starting at the very beginning, back in the ancient world, where those first pots of pigment held meanings we've almost completely forgotten. Just look at the difference between two of the ancient world's superpowers. In ancient Egypt, it was all about the eyes. Men and women famously lined their eyes with this dark kohl made from lead ore. But get this, it wasn't about vanity. They believed it was a literal shield against the evil eye, and even had medicinal benefits. Meanwhile, over in ancient Rome, the ideal was totally different. It was all about pale skin, which they got using powders made from white lead. This was purely a status symbol. It was a way of saying, I'm so wealthy, I don't have to work in the sun. And this wasn't just happening there. This pattern was popping up all over the globe. In Mesopotamia, they had a similar belief about kohl offering protection. In early China, a pale face from rice powder was a sign you were nobility, and so was nail polish made from things like beeswax and gelatin. So it's pretty clear that from the very beginning, makeup was never just one thing. It was this complex, multi-purpose tool tied directly into daily life, religion, and power structures. But as we move forward in time, this relationship with beauty, well, it takes a much darker, much more dangerous turn. As we head into the Middle Ages and the Renaissance in Europe, the quest for the perfect look could literally cost you your life. So during the Middle Ages, the whole culture kind of shifts. The church's influence was so powerful that it started promoting this idea that heavy makeup was a sign of vanity or even immorality. Sure, subtle cosmetics were still around, but the ideal look was way more pious and natural. But that old Roman obsession with pale skin? Yeah, that never really went away. And during the Renaissance, it led to the creation of this incredibly popular and incredibly deadly product called Venetian ceruse. This stuff was a skin-whitening foundation made of pure white lead. And while it gave you that porcelain look everyone wanted, it was also a slow-acting poison. We're talking severe skin damage, hair loss, and eventually death. Okay, so while Europe is grappling with these literally poisonous concoctions, a whole other part of the world was approaching cosmetics from a completely different and much safer angle: science. You see, during the Arab Islamic Golden Age, physicians and chemists weren't just mixing pigments. They were basically pioneering pharmacology and dermatology. You had figures like Jabir ibn Hayyan, who perfected distillation, which made products way safer and more effective. Then there's Al-Razi, who developed what we would now call advanced skincare. And giants like Al-Zarawi and Ibn Sina actually wrote about cosmetics as a branch of medicine, something for treating the skin, not just covering it up. And one of the most mind-blowing innovations from this time came from Al-Zarawi. He invented the very first solid lipstick. I mean, think about that for a second. Around the 10th century, he was developing these formulas for perfumed color, pressing them into molds, and creating a portable cosmetic that is the direct ancestor of the lipstick you might have in your pocket right now. It was just this brilliant fusion of chemistry, medicine, and beauty. For centuries, these scientific ideas were kind of dormant in the West. So now, let's hit the fast forward button. We're jumping forward about 1,000 years to a moment when technology once again completely revolutionizes cosmetics. And the pace is about to pick up, dramatically, because a brand new art form is about to change everything: film. And the man at the very center of this revolution was Max Factor. When he got to America and saw the actors in these early movies, he was just appalled. The thick stage makeup they were caking on their faces was completely wrong for the intimate eye of the camera. And right there, with that simple thought, the modern cosmetics industry was born. So what was the big problem? Well, that old theatrical grease paint was thick, heavy, and it would crack and literally melt under the intense heat of the studio lights. Max Factor's solution was his pancake makeup. It was light, it was flexible, and it looked so much more natural. And the real game changer? It was perfect for the brand new technology of Technicolor film, which made that old grease paint look totally garish and fake. This invention was so revolutionary that the film industry itself had to take notice. In 1935, Max Factor received an honorary Academy Award for his creation. He had literally and figuratively changed the face of Hollywood. But here's the wildest part. In 1920, when he decided to start selling his movie magic cosmetics to everyday women, he wanted a term that sounded less like something you put on for a stage play. So he came up with a new phrase for it. He called it makeup. The guy didn't just build the industry, he gave it its name. So from Hollywood, makeup just explodes into mainstream culture. And for the rest of the 20th century and into the 21st, the story becomes one of trends moving at lightning speed. And finally, a shift towards radical self-expression. Just look at how fast things start to change. The 50s gave us that classic Hollywood red lip and winged liner. The 60s rebelled with the bold graphic mod look. The 80s were all about excess. More was more. Bright, bold, powerful. Then the 90s stripped it all back with the whole grunge vibe. And of course, the 2010s were completely defined by social media, with techniques like contouring and the perfect Instagram brow going totally viral. And that brings us to the biggest shift in the last 50 years. Easy. The internet, and specifically social media, completely changed the game. Suddenly, the power wasn't just in the hands of magazines and big makeup companies anymore. It was with anyone who had a camera and a passion for beauty, turning everyday enthusiasts into global trendsetters. This has led us straight to where we are now. We're in a beauty landscape that demands inclusivity, where brands are finally expanding their shade ranges to match every skin tone. There's this huge focus on clean, sustainable products. And maybe most importantly, the goal isn't really about conforming to one single look anymore. It's about using makeup as a tool for your own personal, creative self-expression. Which leaves us with one last fascinating question. We've gone from protective kohl and poisonous lead all the way to AI filters that can change our faces with a single swipe. As the lines between the real and the digital just keep getting blurrier, the next chapter in this long, surprising history of makeup is just starting to be written. What do you think it's going to look like?